Okay, admit it, we've all done it, or at least most of us have. We're out to dinner, and someone in our party wants to take a picture of the table setting or of their food for social media. Well, we've got 5 tips to ensure an Instagram-worthy tablescape in every single shot. 425 Magazine's Andrew Hoge is joining me now at the table, sir.
Pleasure to be here.
I'm excited to talk about this because as much as we like to tease people about, or take a picture of your food again, there is that element of when you sit down, even if you're not taking pictures, you feel like it's an Instagram vignette. So I'm really glad that you're here to share all this with us.
Absolutely.
And I have to say, I want to know what the motivation was. Were you seeing some messy pics?
You know, every so often on Instagram, I'm just like, oh, it could have been done a little bit better. And it's so easy, but let's face it, these days the phone eats first. Okay.
Yes, all right, that's true, that's true. And he knows what he's talking about as the director of celebrations at the Fairmont Olympics. So.
I've set a table or two in my life.
Okay. So let's get started. You've got 3 vignettes. What's the first?
Okay, first we're talking about is lighting, and specifically candle light. So I love tall, tapered candles, and what this is going to do, it's going to cast light on the face and on the food in a really nice way. So imagine you're kind of like sitting down here, right? So my tip is, have your scissors ready.
Okay.
Think about the average height of the person at the table. You might want to take a guess depending on who the guest list is.
So but not me, because I'm short.
And if it's too tall, cut it, because what you want it to do...
Cut the actual candle?
Cut it down and just put it in there, because what you want it to do is you want the light to start just above the head and melt down throughout dinner, and it's going to cast a beautiful warm light over the face.
If
it's too high, it's too low. We've all done it. There's shadows everywhere, so that's how you do it.
I don't look good in harsh light anymore, so in the candlelight I look really good, so I will definitely be like, okay, we're right about here. Okay, all right. So that's genius. So keep the candlelight at eye level. You also said, I noticed you have 3 candlesticks here. Is there something important about the power of 3s?
The power of 3s. So the human eye loves 3. I personally love odd numbers. So when you are placing your dishes, placing your candles, whenever make little groupings throughout the tablescape in groupings of 3s. It just looks really, really good. For example, right here, you can also play with like elevation. Take one of the dishes and make it a little higher.
Okay.
But you're creating a little triangle right here.
Okay.
And even right here.
So the power of, so you know what's interesting that you say that?
It looks good in photos.
It looks good. Well, people like that in writing. We have that same rule.
Exactly.
Is that we have the power of 3. So that must be really interesting.
Absolutely.
And so you can do it, what you're saying is with anything, with something you're going to be eating, like this, or with the flower arrangements.
It automatically makes like taking a picture of the food from above, or whatever it happens to be, that much more appealing.
That's so easy.
It's so easy.
I see. I know.
This is like 101. This is just, and you can build off of this. There's so many more tips, but this is really straightforward.
This is great. I would have never known. Okay. You also say base your table with neutrals. What does that mean?
This might seem really, really obvious, but you want to give, let's say, same with magazines, right? You want to give the eye negative space to enjoy the more prominent features of the table. So I'm a fan, whether it's a linen or whether it's your dishware and your napkins, starting with a neutral, whites, grays, and I know a lot of people love color and metallics and everything like that, but if you start with a neutral, everything else will show up that much more vibrantly. Okay,
so like I think a lot of times oh, it's just boring to do that, but that's actually what you want. So don't be going to buy. What if you do buy? If you do buy, let's say, napkins or something that has like a big bold pattern on it. How do you ease back elsewhere?
Well, I would make it so maybe if you have beautiful napkins, then maybe your tablecloth is more neutral, or maybe it's the bowls or something. You want to also take just a moment to look at the table before your guests come. Do a little survey and see if there's anything that's just
popping out. Okay.
And the more you do it, it's like exercise. The more you do it, the better you'll become.
Okay, copy that. All right. Let's move on now to floral arrangements. You've got these in the power of 3s.
Yes.
But what is so important about keeping them like simple?
Yeah, so I'm really, especially if you're just doing an at-home dinner, I'm a big fan of keeping the florals really, really simple. Like, of course, love going to the market and getting these big, bouquets and things like that, but there's something so elegant and aesthetic about having a single color of floral throughout the table. It could be all white, all yellow,
yes.
all pink. It just is a softer, more appealing and inviting sort of way to set the table. And again, you can have fun with color or metallics or whatever it happens to be elsewhere, but I'm a fan of starting just with one color of flower.
And in this sense, you did 3, but they're the same exact flower, and so it kind of like the design in which.
Exactly.
Hello.
So pretty.
The design in which. Okay. So dishware and silverware, you talked a little bit about that, keeping it simple, but you also have some things over here that I wanted to just point out.
Yeah, exactly. And so, you don't want everything on the table to be white because that is boring, and I recognize that. But so you want to create a little bit of visual interest with a little bit of a contrast in colors and textures and materials. I am personally a really big fan of mixing marble, wood, and glassware. And kind of these materials combined, they're not too different, but they're not super similar either. So it feels a little bit more approachable. The texture adds some interest to the Instagram photos, things like that. And this can be your charger plates, this could be your cutting board, these could be your bowls, but kind of playing around and mixing and matching it in a way that's feels good to you is my personal suggestion.
This is really great advice. And honestly, I know that this kind of looks a little rudimentary in just in the teaching portion, but you recently did an event that was I've never seen anything like it. It was so jaw-dropping. It was the Cloud event.
Cloud 9, yes.
And that was what, like, when you're talking to me about what are these things, I'm starting to see it in the things you've done. So go to the InstaWebs and see what I'm talking about. But really, truly, this has been such great advice, Andrew. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Let's have a dinner sometime.
All right.
We'll put into
Andrew,
action.
Any table I share with you is a beautiful one, so thank you so much. And thank you again for these wonderful tips. You can check our website, my friends, for more information always, and you can let us know if you have any thoughts. Just send us an email. But most important, my friends, get out there and enjoy your new day. We'll see you next time.